Good morning, everybody. I'm Mark Tomkins. I'm going to be running our webinar today as part of the Small Business Britain and eBay program. Today's session is SEO, basics for small businesses. I have been working in the internet for 30 years. It's important, I think, to stress at the beginning of this session that the views that I'm going to impart this morning are of mine and Aubergine's. They are not those of Small Business Britain or of eBay, but they are based on our experience and knowledge that we have accumulated over 30 years of working with small businesses. So come on in. Today's is going to be a super practical session. Actually, what's worth pointing out is that the information that I'm going to give today about SEO or search engine optimization isn't limited explicitly to eBay sellers, eBay pages. This is good advice for anybody who operates online. So all of the tips and information is good to take away and good for anybody online. So in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, you'll see a lovely QR code. That's where you can sign up for some future eBay webinars. The session is being recorded, and everybody who's registered for today will get a link on an email in a couple of days from the team at eBay there to be able to download and watch the webinar again. So let's get stuck in, shall we? There's me, Mark Tomkins. I'm the founder of web agency Aubergine. And away we go. So what are we going to cover today? Well, we're going to cover what makes a website good for users. We're going to cover content. Content is still king. We're going to talk about speed because I feel the need for speed. That was a terrible impression, but I'm sure you'll remember where it's from. We are going to talk about the importance of the mobile experience of a website, and also why no barriers. Why would you put any barriers in the way of taking people's money? We're going to talk a little bit about website construction and the content. So it's called top heavy. We are going to talk about domain authority. Trust. You are going to hear about trust a lot this morning. We're going to talk about links to and from your website. What's good, what's bad. Lost your marbles. What do I mean? I mean missing stuff from your website. That's bad, and we'll get stuck into that shortly. Oh, content. Did I say that content is still king already? I think I did. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you a toolbox of bits and pieces you can take away and some advice and tips. So away we go. What is operating on the internet about? Well, I can tell you it's all about trust. Why is it about trust? Well, search engines have one job to do. That is to deliver the user to a website that most closely matches their search criteria. That's all they've got to do. And in order to make sure that that experience is good and that they are doing a good job and the user's doing a good job, you've got to make sure that it's done with confidence. A search engine, whether it's Google, whether it's Bing, whether it's one of the others, has to be able to do it with confidence. So if you search for something and you click on one of those recommended links, when you get to that website, it's what you wanted. You've got to do it with the fewest number of bouncers. What do I mean by that? Well, you have all experienced it where you've searched for something, you've clicked on one of the search results, you've gone to the website, you've gone, wait a minute, this isn't what I need. This is nonsense. And you've gone back to Google or your search engine. That's a bounce. So we are back to trust. Trust is the key. When you start doing stuff to your website, when you start promoting your online shop front, whatever it is, think about trust. Put everything through that one filter of, is this something that somebody could trust? All right. So what do I mean? Let's be explicit. As you see on the little computer screen there, this is a typical search results page. Look, it's searching for Aubergine or searching for a web designer in Leighton Buzzard, that's where we are, sunny Leighton Buzzard. The search results that get delivered there, as you can see, Google trusts it. It can trust that the content is accurate when it gets to the web page. Now, let's be clear. Anybody who owns a website can lie. Anybody can set a website up. Anybody can write stuff that goes on the page. So Google's got to be able to trust the content on that website. How's it going to do it? Well, we'll come to that shortly, but it's about how others think of you, how others trust you. Let's call it third-party verification. So the other thing that Google needs to trust is user experience. What do I mean by user experience? I mean being able to send somebody to a website, knowing that the page is good, the site is good, there's no errors, there's no annoying pop-ups or barriers in the way. The site isn't slow, so the user's going to get a good experience. They're going to be able to do and find what they want. If that happens, Google's done its job. Search engines have done their job. It's trusted that experience. Let's talk about barriers briefly. Pop-ups, slowness of the website, bad code, all of these things are barriers. Pop-ups particularly, they are terrible for mobile experience, and for the most part, more than 75% of all experiences, all searches are done from a mobile phone. Google itself is mobile first optimized. So why would you put the barrier in the way? That's about you, that's not about the user. If it's about giving a discount, if it's about signing up to a newsletter, put the content on the page. Don't stick a pop-up in the way. It's a little bit like that shop assistant that tackles you the moment you've walked into the shop front. I don't know what I want, so don't talk to me just yet. Trust is the key, people. So what defines trust? Okay, the content is good. Now, I've already mentioned that people who own websites can lie. So in order to feel trusted, Google wants to look at other people who link to your website. The more people who link to your website and pages within it, the more search engines look at that as a measurement of trust. If all of those people trust this as a place for the content, I'm going to trust it too. So that's called link building and domain authority. We'll tackle that shortly. The pages have good metadata. Okay, what is Mark talking about? Okay, metadata are the short little titles of the page and the descriptions that come up in a search result. When you search on Google, it's the page title and that sentence or two in grey text underneath. That is the page meta title, page meta description. If you have your own website, you have control over those. Otherwise, what will happen is the website will just automatically serve up what you called the page and the first sentence of the text on the page. Now, that might not necessarily be the best way to describe the content of that page, but that's what gets pulled through to Google. So here's a quick tip. We'll cover this also later on. If you have, for example, a WordPress site or a Shopify site, something like that, you can control the page meta title, so the title of the page, and the short description. For example, if you've got a WordPress site, you can install a fantastic free plugin called Yoast SEO, that's Y-O-A-S-T, and it will allow you on a per page basis to write the title, how you want it to appear, and write the short description. What else have we got? Okay, the website needs to be fast. It's all about speed. If you're using your phone, you might be on a iffy 4G internet connection, something like that. It's got to be about speed. So no big content, no huge images, no mega slow loading videos, and also no code errors. So it's all about speed. Now, luckily, those lovely people over at Google have given us a brilliant tool to be able to measure speed of a website. We'll get to that in a minute. Mobile experience is good. I've said that. I will say that always. Whilst people have phones in their hand and walking around the street, you can see that pretty much always everybody's got a phone in their hand while they're walking, make sure the mobile experience is good. If the experience is good, people trust it. If people trust it and visit it, Google trusts it. I can't say it any plainer than that. No barriers. Said this one before. Get those pop-ups off your site. I know you think they look good. I know you go, hey, but everybody else has got them. Sure, but there are 7 and a bit billion people in the world. There are lots of people that make mistakes. Barriers stop people converting to sales. A pop-up is a barrier. Put the content like newsletter signups, like discount codes in a contextual location. Put it on the product pages. That's a better place for it. Okay, the domain's authority. Little bit technical, this one. This is a measurement out of 100 how much the internet trusts you. It's run by a service called Moz, M-O-Z, and you can download a brilliant little tool that you can install into your browser. It's called a browser extension, and it's called Mozbar. You can Google it, install it, and what it's going to do is when you go to your website or any other website, it's going to give you a number out of 100. That number is essentially how much trust is accumulated. That number needs to go up. To give you some rough idea, Facebook has got a domain authority of something like 95 to 98. Google's own domain authority is about 97. Now, obviously, they are huge sites with a great amount of trust. I'll be absolutely honest, aubergine262.com has a domain authority of about 36. And the reason for that is we're a small business like you. We only have a limited amount to be able to improve that. But the closer that you can improve to improve that number, raise, get it up, that's more evidence of you being trusted on the internet. So, inbound links and fewest bad links. You need some inbound links from lots of other people. You need fewer duff links, bad links. Okay, do links going out of your website count? No, they do not. No lost pages. This is a really, really common one. Okay, I call it lost marbles. Often people who have websites, they delete a page or they change the name of it or they change the URL. But in the eyes of search engines, that page has gone. The more pages that go, or the more pages there are hidden that have disappeared over time, the less Google can trust you, because it can't trust that it's going to send you to a page that you haven't gone and deleted. So keep a check on those. You can control the number of what we call 404s, lost pages, by using Google's free service called Google Console. That will help you look for all of the 404s and then set up some redirects to the new URL on your website. It's a little bit technical, but it is something worth looking at. Okay, the content is good. This is important. Well-structured content per page. Start, middle, end. When you're creating that web page, think about the page title. Think about the middle descriptive bit. Think about the end, the call to action. Let's put our marketing hats on. What do we want somebody to do? If you're selling a product, there needs to be a buy now button. There needs to be an add to cart button. If you're selling a service, there needs to be an inquire button. Sell the story and then the call to action, tell people how to respond to it. I've often referred to it as selling the sizzle, don't sell the sausage. Use headings. Use headings on the page. People skim web pages quickly. So do search engines. So if there are important things to say that describe your product or products, put them in the headings. Tell people about the benefits and then the features. A product A and a product B will have probably similar features, but tell them the benefits. How is this going to improve them and their life? As part of that, write for people, not bots. Don't cheat. Google and other search engines can tell when you are cheating. Write it in good, plain, descriptive English, or in the language of the marketplace that you're serving. Don't try and cheat it. I often see these websites. Let's just take a plumber, a local plumber, and I see these web pages and they're full plumber this, plumber that, plumber in the town, plumber, plumber, plumber. It's page spamming, it's word spamming. Nobody reads like that. Nobody can understand it. It's incoherent. Google has an excellent grasp of grammar. So this is not the way forward. Write it well. If people can read it, there is a set number of time that most algorithms will be able to work out if somebody's been able to read a page well. So write it for people. Be accurate. Don't make claims that aren't true. So it reinforces the fact that content is still king because it's the way to define to the user they are at the right place. All right, let's go back to that page meta. Remember what I was talking about? What the hell was he talking about? Well, this is what I was talking about. It's this. So the page meta title, there you go. It says that page, my home page, is called Website Designer. I'm in Leighton Buzzard. The meta description is the short bit underneath it. Clear, concise page titles. Tell people what the page is about. Accurate and succinct description of what's on that particular page. You're going to need to describe each page because each page is going to have different stuff. Because it's the initial signpost for Google to know what the page is about. Same as it would be for users. It's the first thing they're going to see. So if you want to encourage people to come to your website, make sure this bit is right first. I would say this is probably the one takeaway thing that you should go away and definitely do today. Don't rely on the automatic pull through of the content, as I've said already, because it could be anything. That first sentence of the page could be who knows what, potentially not descriptive. So take control. So I do feel the need for speed, definitely. So why is this important? Well, for the first time in Google's history, they've actually told us how to measure a website against its metrics, against what it thinks is important. You can go to this website. It's called Page Speed Insights, and it's on page.web.dev. And you can put your website address in there and it will measure the speed of your site in the mobile experience and the desktop experience. It will tell you in the results where there are barriers, slowness in code, pop-ups, big content, things in the way. Some of the stuff on it, some of the descriptions are a little bit internety descriptive-y. They can be a bit tricky to understand, but there's a lot of good stuff in there that's going to tell you where your site is slowing down. So it's measured in red, amber, green. Okay, green, obviously good, and downwards from there. You need to try and aim for an amber level score. Okay, if you're in the red, you've got work to do. Test it regularly. It's important also to remember that when you're testing it, it will take your internet speed at home into consideration a little bit, because what it's trying to do is it's trying to get a bit of an average of internet speed across all users. So it will vary according to your own internet speed. But on the whole, if you do it regularly, you'll get a really good picture as to how fast your site is. So speed is everything, because you need to think about mobile. Now, what's bad? What is bad? Code errors. If there's loads of code errors, you're going to need to get some technical help there. But that might be actually what's causing the slowness of your site. It might be causing ultimately how you're not getting users. No big barriers. I've said this before. No big images, no big videos, no pop-ups. Put them elsewhere on the page. The mobile experience is really important. It is all about the speed. Test it regularly. Test your website on your phone regularly. Go to the pages, fill in the form. Crikey, if you've got control of the website, put a product on there that's 10 pence and go and buy it. Experience it how your customers would experience it, end to end, because I bet you there will be things that you will want to improve as a customer. So test it regularly. Mobile first. Think more than 75% of all of your customers will be using a phone, not a desktop. If they've got a bad mobile experience, it's going to be a bad experience. And if it's bad for users, it's bad for Google. It needs to be good for everybody. Serve your users, you will serve Google. You might like to think about different page meta. Remember earlier on I was talking about the page title and the page description? Well, if you use that lovely free plugin called Yoast SEO, you can define the difference of the page title and the meta description differently for mobile than you can desktop, because obviously there's less space. You're going to need to be a bit more succinct. So you might like to think about that. There we go, Yoast. There's the spelling of it, Yoast. If you've got a WordPress site and it's free to install. So, good user experience. What is good for Google and other search engines? Well, page headings, I've talked about that. It's a good way to break up the page. It tells the users who skim the pages what the page is about, but also it's useful for search engines because they'll often skim the heading classes to work out what the page is about. It's also very good for web accessibility. Let's just touch on web accessibility. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean those users who have a disability of some kind or another. That makes up probably something close to 1 in 5 of every person in the community. And if your website isn't particularly good and serves the information up badly when it comes to web accessibility, you're excluding those people. The purple pound, which is the value of the amount of money spent by people with disabilities in the UK, is something close to £300 billion a year. I mean, it's a gigantic amount. Wouldn't you like a small share of that? Serving up your web pages that have got good web headings help those users. So 300 to 500 words per page in good plain English tells the user exactly what the page is about, what the product's about. Images. Make sure that the images that you have on your website have also got a textual description, and there are clear calls to action on the page. Buy now, go here, that kind of thing. Buttons are clearly labeled. Links are clearly labeled. This is good for user experience. What's bad for experience is avoid click here's, be descriptive. Again, I'm going to sound like a stuck record. Pop-ups and overlays, get rid of them. Put the content on the page, not on a pop-up. Don't be top heavy. What do I mean by this? Well, I mean big, massive images and videos at the top of the page. That's about your ego. That's not about the user. By all means, use big images, nice promotional product images, but don't stick them right at the top, because Google's got to get out of the way of that picture or that video to get to the content of the page. If you want your website to be your best salesperson ever, put the content nearer the top, put some pictures further down. It's about your vanity, not the user's experience, and it affects speed. You can put these things on the page because they're the visual confirmation that it's the right page, but it doesn't necessarily need to be gigantic. Again, did I say that already? Descriptive headings at the tops of the page describe what the product is about. Every edit that you make to the page and the site, think about the user. Does this help the user? Try to put it through that filter of, is this me having a vanity moment, or is this genuinely going to help the user? If you are helping the user, you will by default improve your experience within the search engine. Okay. Domain authority. Remember way back at the beginning when we started, we were talking about trust. This is the internet and how much it trusts you. That's what we call it, the domain authority. The page authority is about how much the internet trusts that particular page about the particular content on it. Okay, domain authority is about the overall website domain. Page authority is about that specific page. You might have a really good page authority about something within your site because you've got lots of information and people link to it, but the overall domain authority might be lower. You can measure this using the Mozbar tool. They will vary, these numbers, and they will vary as you go through the site. Use the Mozbar tool to check your trust level. As I said, it's a bit of a finger in the wind in terms of how the internet trusts you, but it's a good direction. The quality of your inbound links is important. Visitor traffic, good and bad. So you want to obviously try and keep a check on bad visitor traffic. The website being built well, that's important. And also things like making sure that your SSL certificates, so the little padlock things, they are current and working. And as you can also tell from the Mozbar tool, your spam score. Okay, make sure that your website's form has got some form of capture on it and you're not getting battered with spam, because that's overall going to also have a negative effect on your domain's authority. Some of those things you might need a little bit of help from somebody technical like a web developer. So what you're trying to do overall is increase that number of your domain authority, increase the page authority number. Look at that. There we go. We ran the Mozbar tool on ebay.co.uk. Page authority 75 out of 100. Domain authority 91. Spam score 3%. I mean, overall, those numbers are awesome. But I'm not sure that we would expect any different. Okay, good links. Inbound links to your website are good. Go to your customers, go to your suppliers, go to the local newspaper and tell them about something newsworthy. Get links to your website, but don't buy them. Don't buy them from SEO companies. Don't buy them from link building companies. Those are bad. Create good content. Ask if you can do a blog on somebody's site that links to yours. Don't use directories. However, professional association links are okay. As I said, try your local newspaper. We get some great links from our local newspaper, telling them about things that you're up to. Try not to be too salesy. Try and think about it being newsworthy. As I said, professional accreditation sites are good. Whoops. There we go. Okay. Again, collaborate with others. Other local businesses link to each other. It's about trust. Links from social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, they're only going to go so far because it's only going to show one link, because all of the content is inside their platforms, and most search engines can't see inside the platforms. So it only really counts for one link or so. Outbound links from your website to other websites have no value. So they're the wrong end. You need inbound links. Now, look, they're really hard to get. That's why they're so valuable. So you get rewarded when you get them. Bad links, okay, you can't prevent it. There's lots and lots of bots that go around scraping websites all over the place, and they add them to directories. You've just got to manage them. The tool to use is Google Console. You can disavow them. You can disavow the links. You'll need to set up a free Google account and set up Console, but you will be able to disavow those links. You can use the Mozbar tool to give you a list of all of those inbound links. And as I said, look for Google Console, that's how you spell it, to disavow the bad links. Basically, you're telling Google you're on the case. As I said, don't pay for link building services. So lost your marbles or 404s, basically it's a reflection of trust. Google doesn't want to trust a website where pages have disappeared, all right? So keep an eye on pages. There is a 301 redirection tool that you can add to most websites that says, if this page doesn't exist anymore, what's its new one on the website? So being able to say to Google, it's not here anymore, it's over here. Think of it a little bit like Royal Mail's post redirection. It's just like that. Too many 404s or missing pages equals a lack of trust. So avoid deleting those pages. Just change the content more than anything else, because it doesn't want people to have a failed experience. So use Google Console to hunt them down and resolve them. Okay, some do's and don'ts before we come towards the end. So write for people, not for bots. That's important. If people have a good experience, Google will have a good experience. Use those headings, use them page meta titles and descriptions, and check the speed of your site. That mobile experience is absolutely key. The Page Speed Insights tool is going to help you look at mobile and desktop. and go begging for those inbound links. You can measure it every now and again by checking that domain authority with that Mozbar tool. Things to avoid doing. Don't try and trick Google and search engines by writing for bots and filling the page with lots and lots of keywords. It doesn't work. Avoid the pop-ups and overlays. I think you're probably tired of me saying it, but it is important. And don't overload the tops of the pages too. Don't buy links. And don't have unreasonable expectations, okay? There are 9.64 billion websites out there on the internet right now. And if your website is just a couple of years old and you've only got perhaps 6 or 7 pages on it, it's going to take time for Google and search engines to trust you. So things that you can go away and leave with today. Install that Mozbar extension into your browser and check your domain authority and open a free moz.com account. Those are good things. Use Google Console to check for 404s, those missing marble pages. Set out the page content. Pick a few pages on your website and make sure that they've got some good clear headings. And whilst you're writing for people and not for bots, you can also install that Yoast plugin so that you can make sure that the page meta title and meta description is clear and descriptive. Check that website speed on the Page Speed Insights. It is going to give you a shopping list of things you can do to improve that experience for users within the mobile experience. Did I tell you about the pop-ups and overlays already? Please, it's not about you, it's about your customers. Take them off your site. And ask people for links. It's really hard to do it, but they do have high value. So we've come to the end. I realize it's been an absolute whistle-stop tour of how to improve the SEO of your website and your online experience. I hope you found it helpful and useful. And I hope to also see you perhaps on another event in the future there.